Annie and welcome to Little Nibbles Studio. And so just like that, it's 2026. In the blink of an eye, it does feel like it. You know what that means. It means a whole new set of currently inked fountain pens. So if you would like to know what I have inked up for January 2026, I invite you to stick around. And this currently inked, I really wanted to compare two different papers. One, of course, is the Tomoe River paper, 52 GSM, and this one is the viewcorona. And so I'm going to be swatching both at the same time. I may probably speed up the process as I do that. And I also incorporated the use of washi in order to create the shape of the swatches. I hope that the swatchy is not too distracting. I had used it in my last video of Jana's Ferris Wheel Press inks, and I feel it creates such a beautiful aesthetic in which, you know, the swatches just pop out at you, including their unique properties and characteristics. And I thought, you know, I'm going to continue to roll with that. I really enjoy how they turned out and the aesthetic of it. So I will continue to do that here. And so let's begin. I've zoomed you in to get a closer look, and I'm also going to be using a pipette and a plastic spoon for muddling, and of course some water. Our first ink is by Wearingeul, and it is called Wendy Darling, and I absolutely love the lenticular visual of the label on this series. It's just adorable, so pretty. Okay, and it is a shimmer ink with silver shimmer, so I'm going to give it a little shakety shake. I don't know, this might be my year of the blues. I'm really falling in love with them. And this one caught my eye. However, it is quite a light ink. I would say in a fine nib, most likely, you know, an illegible ink to write with. However, I did not ink it up in a fine nib. I inked it up in my Esterbrook Estie Sweet Dreams, which has a broad nib. And it is my hope that we can appreciate more of that shimmer in this really adorable ink using a broad nib. So here we go. Oh, and I need to add that it is a broad nib. Moving on to our next ink. It is also a Wearingeul ink, and this one is called Anky. It is also a shimmer ink with gold shimmer, so let's and I have inked up Anky in my FranklinChristoph Model 31, and it is a 1.1 step. And what I love about this fountain pen is the look of its antique glass in the resin, in which FranklinChristoph is so good at representing here. It's just beautiful. Moving on, our next ink is by Van Dieman's in their Natura Dualis series, and this one is called Harvest Tide. It is a dual tone shading ink. And I have that inked up in my Esterbrook Estie Quirky Leaf. What I really love about this Estie is that it is a push button filler. My very first push button filler. And it has a wonderful ink window in which can help indicate whether your ink is running low, and it looks like this ink is running low already. Maybe I didn't fill it all the way. But filling it is quite easy and straightforward. Just dip it in the ink, press the button, hold it, and then release after, I don't know, 5 to 10 seconds, and then you will see the ink in the ink window. And this is a specialty grind by Gina Celerino, and it is known as the Journaler grind. I'm not sure if you can see the engraving of her initials on the nib, but that also indicates the type of nib grind this pen nib has. On to the next one, and this ink is a Ferris Wheel Press shimmer ink called Sparkling Champagne, and this one has gold shimmer included. And I have to give it a little shaky shake. And I have inked that up in my Kolo Tino Mother. And these are fairly new. I believe they came out last summer. And these Kolo Tinos are pretty unique in their resin. And the Kolo Tino is only made with a medium-sized nib, which I don't mind because I am a fan of medium-sized nibs. Now I enjoy several fine size nibs in my pens, and so I'm evolving. And but yes, this particular fountain pen only comes in a medium-sized nib. On to the next ink, which is also another Wearingeul ink, and this one is called 12th Night in their William Shakespeare series. Oh, and it is a shimmer ink with a blue shimmer. And I have this inked in a new edition of the Asvine family, and that is the V126 demonstrator with brown and white accents. And this one is also a piston filler, so we will unscrew that to release the ink. And it is a 1.1 stub. And I was thinking I could enjoy more of the shimmer in this ink because this is a 1.1 stub. On to our next ink. It is another Ferris Wheel Press ink called Majestic Maple Syrup. And this also is another shimmer ink with champagne glitter shimmer. I have that inked up in my Esterbrook Estie TheCoffeeMonsterzCo pen. And what I love, actually there are a couple of things I love about this pen. I love the marbling in the resin and the swirls of those colors: creams, beige, browns, blacks, and caramels, and as if it was an iced coffee, which is so lovely. And the second thing I love about this pen is that it is also a journaler nib, specialty ground by Gina Celerino, and you can see her initials engraved on the nib, and alongside the TheCoffeeMonsterzCo emoji. It's just adorable. It's probably one of my favorite pens. My final ink today is by Colorverse, and it is called Fabulous Las Vegas. I do agree, this is a fabulous ink. Not just because of the shimmer. Wow. You can see all of that beautiful shimmer. And that is a gold shimmer. And that fuchsia makes such an eye-popping combination. And I have this inked up in my Montegrappa Venetian Marshmallow. And when I did get this pen, I found it on Farney's, and I just fell in love with the confetti colors, and look at the chatoyance of those colors. Wow. And an interesting story about this is that there were two different kinds of the same pen made. One made especially for the US market, which is called the Elmo. And its icon is on the pen cap. And I believe the embossing of the name Montegrappa is not featured here on the Elmo. And so I feel fortunate to have found one of these, and look at how the mosaics of the resin and that light plays off of the colors in the resin. It's just beautiful. And this nib I have in a medium. And look at all these scrolling, engraving artwork on the nib. It's really breathtaking. Okay, and one thing that I don't think I recommend is using washi in making swatches. It was so tedious in trying to peel off the washi, and it threatened to pull a lot of the paper with it, and so for that reason alone, I don't recommend it. However, it is a very pleasing result, and it certainly makes the swatches appear very eye-popping, and the properties and characteristics of each ink have really come through, and I don't know if it's because of the uniform aesthetic and that consistent look of the shape and crisp lines, but I do love it. And so who knows if I'll use that technique again going forward, but I do love the result that it provides. And I just really wanted to compare the papers, and wow, Tomoe River, it really comes through, I have to say. And on top of that, the viewcorona paper, which is this one, it really just elevates that even more. So yeah, and in so doing, we have the Wearingeul Wendy Darling, which was in the Sweet Dreams Estie, and the Wearingeul Anky, inked in the FranklinChristoph Model 31. I love how writing with the FranklinChristoph and the 1.1 stub really highlights the properties in that ink. And then we have the Van Dieman's Harvest Tide, inked in the Esterbrook Estie Quirky Leaf. Moving on to the Ferris Wheel Press Sparkling Champagne, inked in the adorable Kolo Tino Mother. And now we're on to the beautiful Wearingeul 12th Night, inked in the Asvine V126 brown and white demonstrator. And next up, we have the Ferris Wheel Press Majestic Maple Syrup, inked in the Esterbrook TheCoffeeMonsterzCo Estie collab. I wish it would focus better on that beautiful marbled band, but for some reason it doesn't want to. It's gorgeous. And finally, I have the Colorverse Las Vegas, or the fabulous Las Vegas, inked in the Montegrappa Venetian Marshmallow. And as you can see, with the new year in mind, I was really going for this fun, festive aesthetic, and I believe I achieved that here. Let me know if you agree and which one of the pen and ink pairings is your favorite, or if you have more than one favorite. I have to say that the Colorverse Las Vegas in the Montegrappa Venetian Marshmallow is probably one of my top favorites here, just to kick off the new year. And so, yes, thank you for joining me here, and Happy New Year to everyone. And please comment and like on the video, and let me know what your thoughts are on my pen and ink pairings for January 2026 this year.